Bitcoin has exactly been breaking upwards like we have been predicting, and on today's update video, I will be talking about my bullish price targets, where I think Bitcoin is heading towards next, what is currently happening on the Bitcoin structure, and is this right now on confirmation of a rejection, or are we right now seeing that clear breakout on Bitcoin? I will be exactly discussing it on today's update video. So I will be discussing the most important charts, the spot Bitcoin ETF data, and many more important stuff we need to discuss on today's update video. So without any further ado, don't forget to slap on that like button back above 1,000 likes. That will be highly appreciated. And with that being said, let me jump straight away in towards the content. And of course, I first want to be pointing out is that yesterday, indeed, we created a massive CME futures gap. And yes, we did this many times before in history, but usually at some period of the market, we are eventually going to fill up these CME gaps. And I mean, what I want to be pointing out is that 99% of all the Bitcoin CME future gaps tend to get filled up eventually. And I'm not saying it's going to be happening today, but eventually they tend to get filled up. And I want to be pointing out that currently, indeed, Bitcoin has seen that move towards the upside like we've been predicting. And like you can currently clearly see, while Bitcoin first was of course creating lower highs every single time, we have right now officially, of course, formed a higher high, and the trend looks to be shifting right now here. And as we are still forming higher lows, I think that, of course, in this trend right now, we should be looking at that next higher low, and that will be, of course, a good opportunity to actually open up a new long position, because currently Bitcoin is clearly shifting the trend to an uptrend. And I mean, indeed, Bitcoin has been breaking out of this symmetrical triangle. I have talked about this symmetrical triangle for many times before, and I talked about the price targets as well. And of course, you want to be knowing where Bitcoin is heading towards next. And where Bitcoin is heading towards next is, of course, this bullish target on the top side, which is sitting around 85,000 US dollars, which is, of course, quite insane. But this is the bullish breakout target of the symmetrical triangle. Maybe we are still first going to be seeing a move down here and potentially retest that downward sloping resistance line that first was providing resistance and now could be flipping into support. But anyways, we can clearly see that Bitcoin, of course, has been breaking out of the consolidation pattern. And I think that actually what we're about to be getting next year is an exponential rally towards the upside. But there is still one thing you need to be paying attention towards, because right now Bitcoin has still seen a significant rejection from off that 72,000 US dollar level. And I mean, what we're currently seeing is that clearly still Bitcoin previously provided resistance around this level, then we broke above it, it flipped into support, but afterwards we have never got the opportunity to actually break above the dotted line right here, which of course was previously around providing also support, and here it flipped into resistance. But currently we can see Bitcoin, of course, broke above that dotted line, but got rejected by the red line this time around, which of course also had an historical data point from previous resistance. So this is very important to be seeing. And actually, Bitcoin exactly got rejected from off that red line here, and currently is holding just above the dotted line as well. And I mean, as long as we're holding a little bit above this dotted line right here, so holding this region right here, I think everything is looking good here. But still, the most important resistance to break for Bitcoin is going to be 72,500, and as soon as we do break above it, I think the continuation is of course going to get started. There is still a possibility that Bitcoin is indeed going to come down here before moving up higher, but yeah, I do want to be pointing out is that indeed we just saw a rejection from this very important level of resistance. But since we right now confirmed that higher high on the 4 hourly time frame, I don't really believe that this is a real big reason to be worried about the Bitcoin price action right now. And I mean, if you want to be trading these rejections, these very important support and resistance levels, guys, make sure to check out Margex, because Margex allows you to trade up to 100x in leverage. You can copy trade on the platform, and depositing funds is super easy after you create your account using that link in the description of today's video, where you will also get a free 100 US dollars deposit bonus. You just go to wallet and you can select your cryptocurrency you want to be depositing your funds with, or you can just use Visa or MasterCard to deposit some funds. So if you're interested in trading, make sure to check out the link in the description of today's video to get an additional deposit bonus on Margex to make your trading journey even more profitable. So, and right now there's been something going on which is very important to be paying attention towards, and that is going to be the spot Bitcoin ETF outflows. Because yesterday we actually saw, of course, the Bitcoin price action pump quite significantly, but while that was happening, we started to see that the spot Bitcoin ETF had its largest outflow over the last 3 weeks, which was over 200 million US dollars worth of Bitcoin. That was, of course, going out of the spot Bitcoin ETF. We saw one of the lowest inflows on BlackRock and Fidelity, and at the same time, the outflows on GBTC were massive. So this has been quite an enormous outflow, but even though the outflow happened, Bitcoin still managed to be moving towards the upside, which I am pleasantly surprised by. So still looking quite good. If I'm right now also looking at the liquidation heat map, there is still a significant amount of liquidity being built up around 73,000 US dollars, with more than 1.7 billion US dollars worth of Bitcoin short liquidations. So I still think that Bitcoin is eventually going to be moving up towards that region. And also, if I'm going to talk about the funding rates, we're currently sitting around 0.02, so we're definitely creeping up again here. So as prices are rising once again, we're starting to see the funding rates rise. We do know that this is not necessarily a bad thing. This is a thing that tends to be happening in bull markets, but of course, as funding rates are rising, it is also going to bring you a little bit more risks in the market. And while everything is playing out, everything is also falling together, because in exactly 9 days from now on, we're going to get the Bitcoin halving, which is going to be quite massive, because yes, if you know, you know that Bitcoin always goes the most exponential after the halving and not before the halving. So make sure to prepare yourself for that. The Bitcoin halving is only 9 days out, and Bitcoin always goes the most exponential after the halving. And also, if we're going to get any 20% correction in this exact Bitcoin cycle, I will take that opportunity with both hands, because yes, we have been clearly seeing it in the entire rally towards the upside. Every single time once we got a 20% correction, it was an enormous opportunity to be actually accumulating some Bitcoins out there. So please don't get fooled by this. This is the right time to be actually still be bullish on Bitcoin, in my opinion. So the most amount of gains are still yet to realize. So this is not the time to get fooled. This is not the time to get trapped. My price targets are still higher. I think $85,000 is happening for Bitcoin anytime soon here. So make sure to prepare yourself right now accordingly. But anyways, this was it for me in today's update video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.